Hello there and welcome to Equity Story. This week, my guest is going to tell us about his whole journey when it comes to trying different things, working for people in the technology space, investment, but also going his own way. So what does it mean to be an entrepreneur and to actually find and build one's business? So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mateusz Bodio, the CEO and founder of RKKVC. Welcome.
Hi. Great to be here. Thank you.
So again, thank you for coming today. I suppose to kick our discussion off, we would start, and particularly for the benefit of our viewers in the UK and Northern America, if you could, I suppose, introduce yourself and tell us a bit more about your experience to date, various differing things that you've done in course of your career, and all these experiences that led you to founding and leading RKKVC.
Sure. Thank you for inviting me. That's first of all.
Pleasure.
So where shall I begin? Because I think I tried many different things in my life. Mm-hmm. that's what you also noticed. So I guess will start from education, because interestingly enough, I'm a lawyer as well, but I didn't.
My condolences.
Yeah, right.
Jokes,
yeah, right.
Jokes.
No, actually, I use this knowledge. I'm using it almost every day. Mm-hmm. So I get the systems right, because we are investing basically globally. But I didn't approach the bar exam, because I tried this law practice, and I guess that's not for me.
You were basically busy making money. Fair enough.
You got me right.
If we can
from the beginning.
Say that,
yeah. So going back to the educational side, I did 3 faculties in management, in law, as well as in finance. Basically in France, UK, and Poland. And the passion for learning and teaching stayed there. So I'm a still lecturer at Koźmiński University. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking to go for a PhD, but somewhere in the future, right? Because you need time, right?
It is an endeavor to write a PhD. It has to be new, creative. It's not.
Yeah, especially, I mean, whenever it depends where are you aiming, because you can do the PhD and then you can do the PhD that can be, let's say, then you can make a book out from it. You can do the research papers. I did 3 research papers out from my bachelor and then master's degree. So I know it is possible, and it's quite, let's say, fulfilling. But that's all, I guess.
Yeah, it's time consuming, which, time is something that you have very little of. You can settle on that.
Totally agree.
Sorry, go on.
Sure. So, I was really into the studies, because, I wanted definitely from the beginning to shape the education towards business-oriented skill set, right? So in the meantime, like between the semesters, I didn't have any time off. So each holidays I was working around the globe, basically, whether in Belgium, in UK, US, Poland, and other countries. Mm-hmm. I wanted to try everything before I decide, okay, let's go that way, right? So so that's educational side, and then going more into professional side.
Yeah, work experience.
More interesting for you. I get this, I guess, interesting experience from these different internships in EU, in bank, etc. But the first job, like the serious job, was during my UK studies. Mm-hmm. I set up the strategic consulting company, and my main objective was to help SMEs, entrepreneurs from Central Europe, to enter and to facilitate the entry into the UK market. Mm-hmm. So, like my idea, my first thesis was to how can I help those companies who cannot afford Deloitte, BCG, etc., but still they want to broaden their markets, right? So that was my first endeavor. And it was quite good because it was the first time when I was the one person who need to decide about my goals, how to approach the clients, etc. It was quite different experience because I needed to fight for the client, right? And still I was like 23. So
that's pretty early. But that's great as an experience that will shape your way in which you see business and your competition and your skills.
Definitely. You needed to fight for a client. You needed to, let's say, I'm still really passionate about the management, let's say, thesis, the management school. And it was quite difficult to encourage all those entrepreneurs who are on the market for 20 years and to trust me, basically, because there is some young blood who wants to help me. Yeah, exactly. And wants me to trust him that he can help me enter the UK market, the market which I always wanted to go for, but basically I didn't have language skills. I didn't know how the market looks like, etc. So I remember my first client from Poland, and I was so into the topic. I literally learned everything about the market and the segment that he was operating in. It was the health and safety production something. But it comes out that during the presentation that I showed him how the market looks in UK, in Poland, what are the opportunities and challenges, he was really surprised that I know more about the market than he. And so that was quite fulfilling, and it proved me that you can learn basically anything. So that was quite a nice experience. But imagine that one of my clients required me to move to Astana in Kazakhstan for 3 months.
That's
a crazy story.
Sounds like an interesting stint. Do tell. I mean, we'll come back to your work life and experience trajectory, but this is quite interesting. Go on, please.
Right. So after during the course of my studies and this first entrepreneurship experience, I met Polish client from the UK who wanted to set up a business in Poland. And first of all, I did the same strategy analysis of Poland, how we can start a business, etc. He liked the report so much, and he liked me so much that he asked me if I can be his, let's say, equity partner, move to Poland and be like on 49% of the business, equity partner to basically to conduct activities. And
that's quite a confidence vote, I would say.
Yeah. And that's true, and the offer was so lucrative that I obviously accepted it. I defended my thesis, switched the gears, and started this company in Poland. But just 3-4 weeks later, Brexit happened.
I remember when that happened. A lot has changed in a very, very short space of time. I remember being in the office early in the morning when I worked at this law firm. I think like 17 deals have collapsed just that morning. 17.
Yeah,
in from the sort of stuff that we were involved in.
Yeah, especially even on these betting companies, we're saying like the UK will stay, right? So it was quite surprising, I would say. For some, definitely for me, because my business partner withdrew the offer. Right, I was in Poland. I started some business activities. I had warehouse, a few interviews to hire people, etc. And then everything just gone. Yeah, so I said, okay, nice. I need to recalibrate, right, my career. So I joined the infrastructure and then energy company. But thankfully, I was always working within the technology sector of that.
So that was the theme.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Thankfully, I didn't touch accountancy or anything like that, right? So because I had it, but I was always within the technology in different sectors. even in the energy sector, we tried ICO on all those cryptocurrencies processes. And during the stay at the energy company, it was, let's say, 1.5 year after I finished this UK company, I was feeling like it's too easy and I was missing something. So I decided to open my company again while I was working full time. And the first company was involved in photovoltaic systems sales. So it was way before it was
time.
Yes,
but it's like in comedy, right? It's the key to business and comedy is timing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like same in venture, right? In venture space with the startups, etc. So I started this company and it went well. It was very easy. And then I started another company which was involved with transportation. So
logistics, essentially.
Sorry?
So transport, logistics, that kind of...
Yes. We had a fleet of 15 cars. I hired 35 people. And it was, great experience in terms of learning the hard way of the entrepreneurship, because
dealing with real people, dealing with
yeah.
delays, with contractors, clients, stakeholders calling, stressed out,
insurance,
yeah,
some car accidents,
regulation.
Correct. So imagine working full time.
Fun, yeah.
Yeah, having 35 people full time.
How old were you? If you just remind me.
24.
24.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it was very difficult, but I was feeling like it's a passion that really fulfills me. It was crazy difficult. It was crazy to talk to those people, because it was the first time I had to cope with some liars, cheaters. I needed to read people, whether they're cheating to me, if they really want to help me, etc. So I felt like a Polish entrepreneur from 90s, right? That everyone wants to cheat on you, etc. So that was really a jump on the on deep water, and but.
It's a different level. I mean, it's a different level, definitely. The situation, the people you're talking about, is a different level to having a sort of nice and cozy corporate
Absolutely,
job.
yes.
It's that's the professional, kind of strictly speaking, professional sphere. It's to a degree is living in a bubble where everyone is more or less professional. They have professional standards, insurance, their firms are regulated, etc. Whereas this is the real world.
The real business, where you need to roll your sleeve and do the work.
Get on with it.
You're reading it perfectly, and this is the thing where you needed to work on your emotional intelligence, because you want them, your employees, to work for you. You want to be fair towards them, and there's, let's say, no chance every of them gonna be fair towards you, and you needed to foresee some let's say situations, etc. And it was really difficult, like having calls 2 a.m. in the morning that there is a crash or the car is broken, etc. I hired one manager who cheated on me for a couple of grants and etc. So it was a great experience, and it taught me a lot. But then I decided, okay, I knew after 1 year, I knew how to grow and scale the company. I somehow cracked the code, but then I decided, okay, but it's not, let's say, it's not fulfilling me anymore. It's not developing myself, my let's say, management abilities. So I decided to sell the company, and that was my first exit. It wasn't huge. It wasn't, let's say, tech startup or something else, but still it was.
It was a real business experience, something that puts you in a great stead to go out there, try again, and try bigger and better things.
Exactly. So and that was I remember the feeling. I was talking to some people at my age who wanted to start business, and I said, like, guys, just start. It's really not that hard. And all of them were saying, like, no, the hardest, the most difficult part is to start. right? To invest, to spend some time, to resign from, I don't know, some current job, etc. And that gave me some perspective. And I guess that was the experience that really shaped the rest of my life. Because building something out from nothing by just being smart and connecting the dots to use the competitive advantage, find the unfair advantage to win on the market, was something that I wanted to pursue later on, and just to create things, right? So I really enjoyed that. And after I sold that company, I was working for about 6 months more in this energy sector. And then I decided to change my career, and imagine that I asked for at least half my salary, monthly salary, just to go to the venture capital.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a bold move because I was aware that it's just the only way, and still I was very young at that time, and I could afford that because I sold the company, because I had great salary before that, and I slashed the salary just to enter and break into the VC. The first fund was, I didn't mention that on LinkedIn, but I was working for very short time for a state fund. I mean, the fund that was state-backed, yeah, by the NCBR. But being perfectly honest, the work experience, like working 6 hours per day, really wasn't for me. So because I'm
6 hours a day. That doesn't sound too bad.
I mean, it's. Yeah, but at the current perspective I really wanted to work hard, to learn as much as I can.
You were young, hungry, you wanted pace, effectively.
Yes, yeah, that's correct. I just wanted to learn. I decided to.
The steady, cozy, kind of chilled lifestyle at that stage in your life was not the name of the game. You wanted more. Fair enough.
Definitely something different.
I mean, I've been there when I was back in London, so fair enough.
Yeah, you get the idea, right? So, I was there for about 3 weeks, and then other family office asked if I'm still looking for a job in venture. So I said, yes, please, right? So I joined Luma Ventures, and that was quite great experience because I was working in. I could utilize my experience from energy, from infrastructure, as well as my entrepreneurship experience, because I was working on the very different deals, ranging from venture towards some larger deals like private equity, management buyouts, etc. So it was great experience with great people. I was working very hard, so every 3 months I got some promotions. I was in few supervisory boards, in management board of one of the portfolio company, and after 1.5 years, I felt again I need to be on my own. So this is how I was. Let's say I found my current LP, and we decided to create the family office. So, long story short, that was the way I went through to open RKKVC, which is, let's say, one of the most international fund in Poland, or family office VC fund in Poland.
We'll get to RKKVC in a second, but so it would be fair to say, to kind of like sum it all up, that your career today has been quite intense. There were quite a few changes, quite a few turns. It was a revolving door, should we say, between working for some people, for someone else, but also having your fair share of your own entrepreneurial experiences. When you took the steering wheel, you trialed it out, yourself being in the position of the boss, if you can put it that way.
It was I wanted to connect, somehow find the missing link between working for someone and having full, let's say, autonomy, plus using my entrepreneurial experience, plus my, I guess, high ambitions. And I found that venture is the best way to to connect all those dots and create something great.
I can completely relate. I mean, we could talk about it after the interview, but long story short, I think working for oneself give all that freedom as well as the risk that comes with the territory motivates you immensely, absolutely. Because it's being in a position of, if you want to make more money, is entirely on your shoulders to go out there, win the work, win a new client, talk to people, get on the project, and then have more money or more experience in a particular field or whatever it is that you are after, and you don't kind of have to ask anyone to give you a raise every 6 months or something. So it works works well for some people. For some other people, it might be the sort of stability and predictability of secure employment. That is the name of the game for them, particularly if they have families and stuff. But it depends.
But listen, that's if that's their strategy, it's fine. If somebody wants to work for someone, that's great.
Yeah.
But that wasn't what I was really looking for, and having all in buying entrepreneur this, let's say, ownership, that was super important for me. That I can feel that whatever I'm doing really affects my life, affects the outcomes out from job that I can see, let's say, tomorrow during the exit or investment or some other, let's say, problems. That was really important to see that I have this affection on these different processes.
There's passion as well.
Yeah, definitely.
You can't really wing it, no matter how hard you work. I mean, you can get amazing results, but if you have passion on top of that, then magic will start to happen. Effectively, from what I can see. And
no, of course. While we be speaking about RKKVC, I'll tell you what passion means to me. But yeah, that's correct. Passion is, let's say, one of the, let's say, main beacons in my life, where I'm trying to go and just fulfill my life in that space.
So let's talk about your fund, the family office. So you mentioned that you went into business with someone else. Tell us about how it started. Perhaps what's the investment strategy? Your vision, ups and downs that you might have had. So sure. I'm sure our viewers would be very keen to learn about your journey in that respect as well.
So RKKVC is let's say venture capital, single family office venture capital, right? So I guess in Poland, in our region, CE region, we don't have many family offices, and I mean most of the family offices are LPs to other funds, and we created this single family office VC, and it allows me to use this money because we are not state backed at any way. We have private cash on hand. Basically, we can do the cash deployment even tomorrow. So it allows us to be very flexible and fast, and thanks to not having any restriction, we can invest globally. So within 3 years, actually third year gonna be on May of our fund, we invested almost in 20 companies. Those companies are, one is in Asia, Poland, UK, Estonia, Germany, Switzerland, and US. And we are focusing mostly on seed and occasionally A-series companies. We are investing up to €1 million. But regarding the companies that we are looking for, those companies are mostly in SaaS business model, SaaS B2B, with a strong elements of AI, ML, computer vision, and recently also cybersecurity.
Is there any reason for that? Or you decided to make that conscious decision, we're only going to focus on this?
Right. So. Still, those sectors that I mentioned, those are quite broad sectors. So you can even say that RKKVC is an agnostic fund. That is correct, but we are not investing in any medtech, biotech companies where you need to have very specific knowledge about the sector.
Mm-hmm.
We decided to focus on those SaaS businesses where you can somehow replicate some metrics from, let's say, computer vision to AI companies and machine learning. And recently we started to learn cybersecurity. And
well, it's an increasingly big thing, so fair enough.
yeah, definitely, especially now, right? Especially now. So I just wanted to utilize the experience from Luma, where I learned a lot about AI, ML, SaaS businesses, where most of the time we were lead investors, and I wanted to replicate some of the best practices I learned in Luma in RKKVC. But we twisted the strategy many times, because when I started the fund, my LP said, okay, here's the budget, right?
Mm-hmm.
Although we are evergreen and most of the exit proceeds are recycled. So he said, like, this is the budget, you do you. I said, okay, but still, we need to figure out the strategy, the average tickets. Just you do you. You're the managing director now, right? So I said, okay, let's start. And I created the strategy. I hired the team, etc. So we wanted to work with the best funds that's out there, meaning the world, like I know from any VCs from Silicon Valley, like Iconic, Axel Index, and so on. Mm-hmm. That was our primary goal, to be in touch with those guys and to sit with those top dogs and co-invest in the companies together. Mm-hmm. So
very bold from the outset.
Yeah, definitely.
Pretty
but,
cool.
Thanks to having this private cash, I could invest basically globally without any requirements towards
investment committee restrictions.
I mean, we have investment committee because while I created the fund, I wanted to combine both best practices from family office, being fast, flexible, etc. Yeah. On the other hand, I wanted to have, let's say, formal structure so the investments are safe within the family office. So I created the gate reviews. I have great board of advisors. I have, at the end of the whole investment spectrum, I also have the investment committee, where I ask few advisors to join, and each of us we have this veto right? So I guess that I created the process so it's safe to invest from that perspective, that everyone who has experience in such
has
field
a way to have the input and
correct.
Contribute their respective specialist knowledge.
Correct. And on the other hand, I can do anything with cash. I can do anything that can facilitate and accelerate the investment processes. So this is how we started. And in the meantime, I needed to work towards some unfair advantages that I could go out from Poland and invest with best of the best, right? So I wanted to create the strategy that will be quite unique for us, that allows us to co-invest with those investors. So we decided to be very hardworking investors and help and create this, let's say, strategy support in any terms of the business that our portfolio companies has.
Okay.
Which means that first of all, we are in contact with most of our companies each week, or each, let's say, 2 or 3 weeks, no more than that. We are asking for every struggle the funder currently has, so I can see the pattern and I can, let's say, connect funder with some other funder or my advisor or someone from our network, not only my network, but the fund plus advisors network, to solve such problems. Even let's say how to create the proper culture in the remote environment in the startup, right? Those quite difficult to measure and intangible things are also which we are trying to help. So we, from the beginning, we were hardworking to help the companies, and those companies started saying that we are one of the most active investors and most useful and helpful investors in their cap table. So that was quite.
That's a good feedback to get.
That's a good feedback, right? Yeah, that's correct. But on the other hand, still, I didn't want to compete with other funds on the Polish soil, because it was 2020, where all the PFR funds were super active and they were basically bidding wars. To invest in some Polish company, because they cannot invest abroad, pretty much, right? So that was another, let's say, layer for me to look for abroad investments. And one company, I remember that company that I saw during the YC event. We were invited for a demo day, basically because of the fact that we are family office, then VC. So in other words, family office thing opened the gates for the West, because like in Poland, whenever you're saying you're from family office, they were like, okay, I still don't get the idea what's the family office is, but that's nice. And then you're saying you're from VC, they're saying like, oh wow,
everyone knows.
Wow, this is serious, right? And quite opposite happened in the West, where, for example, in Switzerland, whenever I was saying I'm from family office, I'm representing family office, okay, please welcome. Versus another VC, okay, another one, right? So that was, I guess, that was the game changer that allowed us to go to YC to invest in the first company, which was called 10x.
Okay.
And this 10x was with the co-investment from Speed Invest and YC and some other great funds, and we were working like crazy to help the company. And on each monthly calls, they were saying my name, the name from my team, that we were helping in this and that and that and that. At the same time, I asked for an intro for Speed Invest, and they saw that we are trying very much, and they started asking us and inviting us to co-invest with them, but not in their portfolio, but with them on the first rounds, right? That they were leading, and that was, let's say, the first time we saw the opportunity to invest abroad with the best guys. And right now, I'm happy to say that we have this co-investment with A16Z, Axel, Index, Speed Invest, Iconic Capital, and many more, let's say, Silicon Valley top dogs, whereas we are on monthly calls, sharing our pipeline, etc. So that way, within 3 years. That
was literally my thought right now, and all that within 3 years. Yeah, pretty impressive.
Yeah, and bear in mind that during the let's say, first half year, I needed to figure out how I want to lead RKKVC, because still, having in mind that you are backed by the family office, they are not that risk tolerant, right? They know that venture capital is a bit more, let's say, riskier than I know real estate investment, right, or private equity.
It's to put it mildly, yes.
Exactly, but it would be difficult for me to show them. Listen, guys, we invested in potential 10 more Facebooks. At least one will be big, right? So I needed to recalculate the risk of the investments.
Of course.
So I wanted to have this, let's say, downside protection, but still we have quite large upside potential from each investment we have.
Okay. How did you go about that then?
So listen, like during 2022, none of my investment bankrupt, and none of those investment has some, let's say, issues with the funding or anything else. So whereas most of the companies in US or West Europe, they are struggling, right, because of the situation that is happening. So for now, 2020, for me, 2022 was some kind of confirmation that each of investment thesis, each of the investment recommendation, where we were asking ourselves whether this company really possess the competitive advantage, the team will be capable enough to sustain, I don't know, some stress from the market, etc. So all those assumptions were confirmed in 2022.
They were tested.
It was battlefield, right? It was battlefield, and they were capable of getting another fundraise. We also tested our co-investors who are willing to put some follow-ons together with us, etc. So right now I'm quite sure about the portfolio that is going well, but I'm not expecting to have, let's say, 20x or 30x from the companies. Okay, we have SpaceX that we invested in 2019, but let's say that was quite larger investment. We invested more than €1 million in that company. But apart from that, because it's not a typical venture, I guess that we have quite good portfolio right now, and it's going very well through this, let's say, tough waters.
If we can kind of pause for a second. So you've done all of that. So, you had your, let's call it, formative years, whereby you went to uni, then after that you tried working for other people. You also had your first ventures that you run yourself, and then you started your family office with the VC element in it. Yeah. So at this stage, what do you think were the biggest lessons? I mean, obviously you did start talking about some of the things that you've learned, but some of the biggest lessons, not just purely as a person who kind of works in the VC sector, but as a businessman, biggest pitfalls, perhaps some missed opportunities, things like that. Because I think it will be interesting. You have an illustrious experience to date, and it will be interesting for our viewers to also see, what were some of the harder landings along the way.
Yeah, exactly. You said lessons. First thing for me, lesson is a failure, because it's super important for me to, and it's fine. Even I said to my team that it's fine to do some mistakes, because we are humans, right?
Yeah, and you learn.
Exactly. But it's ultra important for me and for the team, and I'm trying to prove and tell on every corner that we need to analyze every mistake we are making to have as high bar as we can. At least that's my strategy towards life, to have high standards and high bars, and instead of like run through the bar, just to take it higher, right? That's very important for me. And obviously I did a lot of mistakes, right? Whenever Ryan was running the company, the first or the second, and but from each mistakes I was trying to learn. So the largest, let's say, the best experience for me, and that's important as well for every venture capitalist investor, is that, in my opinion, the good venture capitalist needs to have some entrepreneurial experience, and because it really can change your view towards the investments.
You mean sorry to obviously interrupt. You mean entrepreneurial as in working in business?
No.
Before that, or
yeah, working in business, but setting up your own business.
And in this sense, okay, yeah, no,
definitely, because it's all about the emotions and all about the experience. I'm not telling right now that every VC investor needs to have a bunch of money that he exited from other businesses. No, definitely not. I'm saying that on my case, I was in very tough situations. Somebody tried to cheat on me. Some did. Sometimes I could see that and did some things to prevent that. But sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. You struggle. One of my company even bankrupt, and that feeling was horrible. I needed to fire some people. It was good time and then bad time. But the thing is that after all those experience, while I was at young age, it really shaped my mind.
I can imagine,
because I didn't have this, let's say, shield that I could say right now. I have, this shield because of the experiences I had in the meantime. But the thing is that right now it's much easier for me to talk to those entrepreneurs and to understand their struggles. And I have this empathy. And listen, in almost every 10 deals that we recently had, all of those were oversubscribed. Meaning that they have more interest, more interested investors that they were looking for. And imagine that they even started, like every conversation was like, "Listen, hi Mateusz, great to meet you. We are this company and that. We are doing this and that. But listen, after you have 5 more investors, scheduled calls with 5 more investors that are willing to invest in our company. So you have 20 minutes to encourage us that we should allow you to invest in our company."
Yeah.
So imagine that it's from the venture perspective, it's different game.
I was going to say it's a flipped script, effectively.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, the hottest deals, and it's still happening now. The best of the best.
They
deals
get to pick.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and I needed to pitch myself. I needed to pitch VC our capabilities, what we can do in order to be in the deal, right? And there is just one deal that we lost because one investor took whole round. Even they excluded current investors pro rata. It was quite a big move, like US funds that they were doing these crazy deals. But that was really good company because it was set up by the CTO, global CTO for IBM, who set up his own company. He sold it, and it was like second entrepreneur. So very good deal. But we just lost one deal, and I can imagine that most of the time we're just one fund from CEE. Together with Axel, together with Speedy Invest, that we were accepted to that deals. And I was, some people are asking me, how are you guys doing? Just some small fund from Poland, investing together with big guys in Silicon Valley or in Switzerland, UK, etc. And I didn't think about this much. Why are we winning, right? But I guess this experience allowed me to be in their shoes, to talk to them like entrepreneur to entrepreneur.
So real world business experience
that
enables you to actually see different things.
I think
behind the certain, let's call it, the certain chat or the certain perception of tech, innovation, etc., etc. At the end of it, and I also talk about, so talk from the perspective of my business experience. It's important to get the basics right. The fact that you have to pay taxes every month, that you have to pay people's salaries on time, that you have to make sure that the equipment is, on site.
Yeah,
all these basic
conflicts
things
in HR that somebody don't want to hear about.
Someone fell ill and you need to fetch, a replacement employee to do this particular, all that sort of stuff.
And right now, I like most of the funds in Poland, right? And but the thing is that most of those guys who are running those funds, they're just they have some different backgrounds from investment banking, from finance, etc.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly the thing, that they were always paid on time. They had their bonuses, etc. They didn't need to worry about
life happening to them.
Exactly.
It's like dealing with it's. I can imagine that from this perspective that when I went to business. One of the things that I learned was exactly what you are talking about, that just because you, in your previous life, should we say, as a corporate lawyer, you set up a call at X, Y, and Z hour, this date, and everyone showed up, and you methodically went through everything, agreed on everything, and it was all predictable and all fine. That doesn't mean that happens with, say, employees, with contractors in the sort of real economy in that market. Life happens. People get late on the bus or whatever. Someone falls ill. There are various other things that sort of tend to happen and interfere that you don't really see as much when you work in these like glass and steel towers, if you like.
I mean, yes, but still, glass is half full. This is also a great experience to have. And whenever I'm talking to our co-investors, they are still bringing some additional, very valuable feedback. And I'm not saying that I need to, be very polite towards those entrepreneurs and say how pity it is that you have so difficult time. Definitely not.
It's not that. No.
Yeah, but it's just about understanding and helping them because I've been there, right? And whenever we have this some issues in portfolio companies, we are trying to help them as much as we can, even by looking at coaching and mentoring them with some professional coaches, right?
At the end, the incentives are aligned, or should be at least. Yeah. So so there's no problem with that. So, in terms of the lessons, quite a few of these, and but the bulk of it comes down to having actual real business experience that then will enable you to succeed as a VC investor, as a mentor in to VC companies. Yes. And enable them to grow. That's
the correct way to put it. But going to the VC lessons, right? So I guess that we avoided all those rookie mistakes that 2021 and 2022 were labeled, which is FOMO, fear of missing out, too high valuations, too small sample sizes, etc. I think we avoided that, but I did one mistake that we kind of recovered from that. But like every VC, especially on the early fund, early stage, they're saying that the team is most important. And I wanted to skip that because I was literally in love in the product of one company. I said, this is game changer, and it really is. I said that the product is great, the team, but I mean development team is top notch, like one of the best guys in Poland, even in Europe. Our co-investor, he is from, let's say, strategic investor. He is from this business, and he gets the idea, and also is saying that this is game changer. And I said, okay, let's dig deeper in that company. Let's see whether it's feasible for us. And the deeper I was, whenever I was talking and negotiating with the founder, the more red flags I saw.
Okay.
Yeah, but still, I was deep in my heart, I thought that I can be capable of teaching him business, teaching him how to, let's say, behave in, let's say, business world. And I failed miserably. Okay. Yeah. So imagine that even on the first call, I asked him for the valuation. He said, like, this is, let's say, 20 something, and it's based on DCT analysis. I said, like, there is no DCT, it's DCF, right? But especially in such early stage, we as a funds, we are not taking this into consideration because you have no revenue. You can basically say 100 somethings, right? Yeah. And it makes no sense. Yes, but I paid this special financial advisory guys who created my pitch deck financial model, and they are saying it's the company is worth 20 millions, so it's 20 millions.
I see.
I was like, okay, but we are the investors, and we are saying how much this company is should be valued, right?
If someone is willing to pay that.
Correct, right? Yeah. So that was the first red flag on the first call.
God.
Yeah.
That's
but again, I was like saying this product is phenomenal. It's gonna be game changer. And then I really believe myself that having the current experience with the founders, that they are listening to you, that they want to be better, I thought I can really teach this guy. So we invested, and my gut feelings were like, no, don't invest. But we invested. Right now, it's much better than it was before. But that was the thing that was great learning for me. That first of all, team, it's number one in every investment, and the second is the aspect. Whenever you're talking to people, you need to assess really thousands of different let's say units of this personality, and one of this, which is super important, is coachability.
Okay, can you actually shape the guy in front of you into the sort of the form you want?
I mean, listen, like,
as in like in a training sense, of course.
yes, of course. I mean, I don't want to invest, in some soft guys who are, I can say do this or do that, and he'll politely do this. I'm not asking for, but coachability, meaning that he is willing to take your feedback, but he still stands still, and he is aware of his position, his ego, and he has still very high, let's say, standards, but still he wants to be better and better and better and better.
He's basically an adult.
Yes. Yes, that's correct.
Sorry, but that's from the sound of it. He's basically an adult who wants to develop and is a professional whilst at it.
Yeah, that's correct. And I had this opportunity to work with those founders, and it's truly great experience, because most of the time they know much more better about the business, about how to behave, or with some investors, or how to lead people. But sometimes whenever I see some pattern or some issues or mistake they are making, I'm more than happy to correct them, and they are very happy to get this feedback. So it's another thing which is quite important.
I suppose last but not least, so our last question. So we've discussed at great lengths, your experience, what is it that you guys do at RKKVC. What do you reckon the future holds? So what's the next step? Obviously, to the extent that you want or can talk about it in terms of your plans for growth, expansion, market outlook.
Sure.
Anything you can offer? I mean, obviously, come on. I appreciate the fact that no one has a crystal ball, but any kind of thoughts, insight you can offer to our viewers.
To be honest, there's a huge uncertainty on the market, and I think that it's gonna be best vintages for a venture in upcoming years. I'm quite sure about it, but we don't know where the rock bottom is. So listen, in all of those companies who entered the stock exchange in US in 2021, 2020, they're down about 60-70%. And at the same time, companies on later stage like C, D, E series, they're down only 30%.
Okay.
So there is large asymmetry, and it makes no sense. But it makes sense if you see that they're, let's say, artificially make the runway longer because of the venture debt, and then Silicon Valley Bank happened, right? So I imagine that the valuations on the later stage, especially later stage, even will go down. So right now we are just waiting until the rock bottom will happen, and then we want to go into the game and then invest even more aggressively.
Collect the pieces, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's a good time to invest, I imagine, but still it's gonna be even better very soon.
I mean, I wouldn't have any other way if I was making these investments.
Yeah.
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. Our guest today, Mateusz Bodio, the founder and CEO of RKKVC. Thank you so much.
Thank you.